What I'm about to show you is an AI generated podcast that was trained on over 600 entries of my own personal journal from the past 2 years.
Welcome back, everybody. Today, we're going to be doing a deep dive.
Deep dive.
Into some pretty personal stuff, actually. A whole year of someone's life. We've got a collection of journal entries from 2023 and 2024, and I got to tell you, it's
Oh, wow.
it's a real roller coaster.
Really?
Yeah, love, family drama, ambition, facing some hard truths, it's all in here.
Wow. So like the whole human experience.
It's like he's trying to reconcile his actions with his heart, and it's clearly causing him a lot of inner turmoil.
Exactly. And it raises questions about the different ways we experience love.
Right. Considering a career change, maybe going into AI development.
Really?
Yeah. He has this idea for an AI-powered journaling app
Oh, wow.
that could help people with their mental health,
That's cool.
which I think is super interesting.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? It shows a real awareness of the current mental health landscape and how technology could be used to provide support and resources.
So journaling, it's where your thoughts go and stretch their legs. It's where your brain does its thing, right? It's simple, all right? For centuries, it's always been a pen, some paper, and your brain. But what if I told you that journaling has a new roommate, and it's AI? Who needs to stare at a blank page when AI can politely ask you, what was the most exciting part of your day? And then it follows up. How do you feel about that? It's like having a therapist minus all the awkward silences, not having to spend the time to build that relationship. But here is the question. Is artificial intelligence the future of self-reflection, or are we handing over too much of our humanity over to the machines? Can artificial intelligence truly help us understand ourselves better, or does it risk replacing the very essence of what makes journaling human? And honestly, do we trust AI with our deepest thoughts, our inner monologue? Like, what if it thinks I'm literally unhinged because I use the word existential way too many times, which, by the way, I think it's a moderate amount, but we don't need to talk about that right now. Journaling has always been a really deeply personal act for me, but I just wanted to see what happens when technology steps in. In this video, we are going to deep dive how AI is going to transform your journaling experience. And we're going to answer the big question. Is journaling still journaling if AI is your co-author? So I'm going to be totally honest with you. This is going to be a bit of a deep video and personal in the sense that I'm probably going to be revealing a lot of information about myself that I otherwise wouldn't, but I really am doing it to show you the extent to which this can help you and can be used as a tool. I'm opening myself up to your criticisms and the internet's wrath and whatever it is, because I think this is amazing. We'll get to it in a second, but I just want you to know it is going to be, you're going to learn a lot of stuff about me that I probably wouldn't have revealed otherwise. Not the craziest things, but enough to make me feel uncomfortable. But I think it's important to really not just say it, right? Not just tell you it, but show you, okay? So obviously as technology just continues to advance, AI, artificial intelligence, is just becoming increasingly more integrated into our lives. Okay, you have Siri that helps you schedule reminders, you have Alexa that plays your music, but AI is permeating the very fabric of our society without us really even knowing. I always thought that AI was going to gradually be integrated to the point where we don't really know when it was here. Like, we will never really understand when AI appeared in its ultimate form, like general AI, right? It's just going to appear one day, because it's always just going to be slowly incremental changes that we adapt to relatively quickly until one day just AI is part of everything. AI is being used everywhere. It's being used by the health industry for diagnostics and treating diseases. It's being used by banks to detect fraud and automate transfers. It's being used, for streets and controlling the flow of traffic. AI is everywhere. But as AI advances, I don't think that its impact on journaling should be underestimated. AI's ability to analyze data and provide insights means that journaling could even be more personalized and more meaningful. And I get it, I get it. The idea of pairing AI with journaling just seems unusual, right? At the end of the day, journaling, like I said, is just deeply personal and it's a very introspective process. And I just really wanted to see what happens when these two fields converge. So these are the following ways that I think AI is going to transform the way we journal in the future. We are going to get to how I used AI. That's going to be in the later part of the video. Don't worry, but kind of just want to talk a little bit about how I think AI is going to transform the way we journal. Number one, AI-driven prompts, right? By putting our thoughts and feelings on paper, we really gain a deeper understanding of ourselves and our experiences. That has been the nature of journaling since the very beginning. But now imagine, that AI could take this process and put it over here. No, it could take it to the next level, okay? Imagine it has access to all your old journal entries, and based on all your old journal entries, it's able to create personalized prompts based on events, emotions, trends, behaviors, right? I think that AI is going to be able to analyze your old journal entries, and it's going to be able to suggest specifically tailored prompts based on your needs and your desires and your wants and your problems, right? For example, if you write about a particular topic, AI could nudge you to reflect more deeply on that topic. Or if you tend to avoid certain emotions or thoughts, AI could encourage you to explore them more fully. But that's just the beginning. I think eventually, AI-powered journaling systems are going to be able to help you track progress over time. It's going to help you identify patterns, and trends in your behavior, and then offer insights and suggestions based on your goals and aspirations by helping you stay focused and motivated. Think a la personal coach, right? A hyper knowledgeable personal coach that's going to be able to provide you with personalized guidance and support in a way that you've never really been able to have before, right? It's going to just unlock your potential to a whole new level. I think that's where we're going. The second way I think that AI-powered journaling systems is going to change the way we journal is sentiment analysis. I think AI is going to be able to employ a sentiment analysis to our journal entries. It's going, in other words, it's going to be able to help us analyze the emotional tone of our writing. Over time, I think it's really going to be able to give you really good insights on your moods, your mental and emotional health in general. Imagine being able to visualize your happiness, your stress, your excitement levels, right? And how they fluctuate over weeks, months, and years, and what events have influenced your mental state and your emotional state the most. How you could reframe your mindset and perspective to help you navigate through difficult emotions. The sentiment analysis could be a very deeply useful introspective tool. In addition to being able to understand the overall emotional tone of our writing, I think it's going to give us an idea of how we perceive ourselves, right? Our inner monologue is very important. The way we talk to ourselves, the way we portray ourselves and speak to ourselves is huge in the way we present ourselves to the outer world, right? I think that sentiment analysis could really give you an idea of how you're treating yourself. For example, I am very harsh to myself. I can be the things that I say to myself, I would never say to anybody else, right? But I think this emotional analysis of your writing could also be useful for anybody who writes for a living or someone who corresponds frequently, right? Overall, I think there's a very wide range of uses for things like sentiment analysis and being able to tell the emotional tone of your writing in general. And I think the final way that I think an AI-powered system is going to help is through habit formation. like having that personal coach, but to a whole nother level, right? I think it's going to be an incredibly effective tool because it's going to offer more than just like your motivational messages and like reminders, right? I think that AI is going to be able to analyze your data, right? Your journal entries, and just help you gain a better understanding of your own habits that you might not even be aware of, and then provide actionable recommendations to help you achieve your goal based on your habits and your goals, right? Like this isn't just like a cookie cutter, I did this, I woke up at 5 a.m., I took a shower at 5:02, and then I started running at 5:03, you know, like the kind of shit we see on YouTube, the whole like, you know, get rich mindset thing. This is gonna be hyper personalized to you. For instance, like think like weight loss. You can put in your like restrictions and any kind of allergies. It provides you a personalized like meal plan based on your likes and your favorite foods and how you can leverage that to help you on your weight loss journey. Like I think having a hyper specific personal coach with your goals is going to be invaluable. Not to mention that I think that like an AI system would just be able to help you visualize things a lot better, set up timelines, help you stay engaged and motivated in your habit forming process, right? It's going to provide a really powerful, new, personalized approach to the habit formation process. But I'm not going to pretend like AI is perfect, okay? It definitely comes with its downsides. Number one, it does feel like there's a lack of a personal touch, okay? Sure, it can give you prompts, but does it really know you, right? Like there's something about, you know, the journaling by hand, because a lot of this needs to be digitized, that an app simply isn't going to be able to replace. The shorthand note-taking with a notebook that you have in your pocket, writing in the margins of books, it's going to be difficult to create an app that's going to be able to replicate the feeling and the excitement and happiness that comes from physically journaling. And digitizing your handwritten notes is time consuming, and I feel like a lot of people aren't really going to do that. Obviously, one of the biggest downsides that we need to talk about is going to be privacy concerns. Okay, I understand. Let's talking about your data, right? Okay, your deepest thoughts and feelings are being stored on servers. Are they safe? Who has access to them? It's something I think we all have to consider, right? I mean, it's already something I'm considering with having over 600 personalized journal entries in day one. You know, in the back of my head, I'm like, one, I'd be devastated if it was lost. Two, who has access to this data? Three, the longevity of these systems, if it stops existing, do I lose all of that? Privacy is just going to be an ever-increasing concern as we move into the future with AI. And then finally, I think another big downside is just, I think this could eventually lead to maybe an over-reliance on AI. There's a risk of losing the art of self-reflection. If an algorithm's always guiding you, are you really self-reflecting? Are you really connecting with yourself? Or are you kind of just going through the motions, right? I think introspection, reflection is just a active process. And eventually, if it becomes too automatic, you might not be getting all of the benefits that you would be if it was by hand. Okay, so now for the parts that we've all been waiting for. I trained Google's NotebookLM on over 600 entries from the past 2 years of my personal journal with some major life events. Others were really random rants and existential crises at 2 a.m., but all of them, they were me, they were mine, right? So when I heard of Google's NotebookLM, it was one of the very few moments where I cried. It was such an advancement in technology that I genuinely could not believe that we were here, right? And if you don't know what Google's NotebookLM things, it's just a tool that's used to design that's just used to analyze like your notes and like you're supposed to upload like research papers and helps you find citations. Like it overall, you train this AI on like your own data in the sense that you could put YouTube videos, research papers, articles, like a lot of information. And then it's like using ChatGPT. You can ask it questions. It could help you identify what you're looking for in a much more efficient manner. But it was one of the few moments in my life thus far where I was, one, terrified, like I was legitimately scared. Two, I was impressed. I was optimistic. I was like, my jaw was on the floor and literal tears came into my eyes. I couldn't believe it. So I thought, I had found out about Google's notebook like, 2 months back, but I thought, what if I trained it on my own journals, on my own journal entries? And I was nervous, okay? I'm gonna be honest, because it felt weird. All right, it feels weird. It feels almost invasive to let an algorithm read my most personal thoughts. But at the end of the day, curiosity won, okay? I love science, okay? I love technology, I love AI. Curiosity at the end of the day won, and I'm willing to put my stuff through this so that you don't have to if you have any concerns, which I completely understand. But this is the part of the video where I mention that it gets very personal, and I'm doing it. I know I'm doing it at the cost of exposing a lot of deeper, darker things about myself that I normally wouldn't. But I think you guys need to see the extent to which this is just fucking brutally honest, and the kind of analyses you can expect when doing this kind of experiments, or maybe the future of what an AI journaling system could be. So, Google's NotebookLM, all you have to do is you go to sources, you do plus, and you upload PDFs, you upload your articles, you upload whatever kind of research material you want the AI to have access to. What I did is that I have been journaling with Day One's journaling app for maybe the better half of 4 years. I did the last 2 years, and I exported them as PDFs, complete with pictures, complete with everything, and I uploaded it to NotebookLM. I then also uploaded my time reports. I've been tracking my time meticulously for the past 2 years, and that's an upcoming video that's gonna be a lot of fun. But these are some of the responses, okay, that I saved from chatting with with Gemini, okay, with Google's NotebookLM. So, this stuff is crazy, man. This stuff is legitimately crazy. Talks about my relationship with my mom. The author's relationship with his mother is complex and significantly impacts him, causing him emotional distress, influencing his decisions and shaping his fears. It talks about how my relationship with my parents has influenced my view on relationships in general. The author's observation of his parents' relationship, coupled with his own romantic experiences, significantly shape his thoughts on relationships, fostering apprehension about long-term commitment and the potential for settling for less than fulfilling partnerships. What based on my journal entries, like what brings me happiness, okay? Brian's journey to find happiness reveals that he prioritizes freedom and love and self-improvement. He values honesty, loyalty, and ambition, but sometimes struggles to live up to his own ideals. These were the hard ones here, okay? This kind of stuff is this is the stuff that you can't put together unless you have a holistic view of all of your journal entries. Even if you go back years and you're reading entry by entry, I don't think this is the kind of insight that you can come up with yourself unless you just have this massive ability to process a lot of information. I'm talking 600 journal entries. It's a lot. So, unconscious patterns. I asked it, what are some unconscious patterns that Brian displays in his journaling? I'm not going to click on these because they're deep, they're long, but to give you an idea, right? First one, analyzing Brian's journal entry reveals further potential blind spots he may not fully recognize. A fear of intimacy masked by romantic pursuits. I will let you decide what that means. Second, what are some things that Bryant might have not been aware of based on his journal entries? Bryant seeks external validation for his internal desires. Based on the journal entries, Bryant seems unaware of the extent to which he seeks external validation, particularly from women, to fuel his motivation and self-worth. I never saw it that way. Listen, I never saw it that way, okay? I always, like, I've talked about, breakups fueled my motivation, but I didn't realize that, like, it's hard to grasp that kind of information, okay? It's hard to reflect on it. Like, if the thing about this is that it's just it's an unbiased, unfiltered view into your patterns and your actions and your behaviors and your trends. This thing isn't trying to hurt my feelings, okay? It doesn't have feelings. It doesn't give a fuck about my feelings. It's just telling me, based on my journal entries, this is the kind of behavior I'm displaying. I didn't recognize that. So, like, sitting down and reflecting on that, you think back to the events. The thing that's crazy about this specifically, it cites your journal entries and where it's gathering that information or that perception of the behavior you're displaying. So, like, if you click on this, it comes up with little numbers. You can click on them and it'll tell you the exact journal entry, day, time that it was made, and why it thinks what it's thinking, like what it's thinking. But that's a deep one. That one's rough. Okay, then my deepest fears. Here are some of the author's deepest fears. The author fears being perceived as weak or fragile. Fuck, dude. Like, that's some hard shit to read. That's difficult. Okay, and I'm a little uncomfortable. I'm not gonna lie. Those are, like, I'm apprehensive about sharing this. At least that section specifically. Yeah. So to say that I was shocked by the analysis when it came back doesn't do it justice. Okay, it genuinely was just a moment. My heart dropped. It was crazy. It was crazy. It was this pit in my stomach that I felt for a second, but it was like scary, but it was insanely cool. Like, this is gonna sound really weird. Okay, but I felt like seen. Okay, I felt validated in a way by this machine. Like, all of the thoughts that I had about my life and my existence wasn't just in my head. Like, if somebody else was reading it, they would get the idea of, I mean, obviously I wrote it, I get that, but, like, I don't know. It was unsettling, but it was validating. And listen, it's not all sunshine and self-discovery, okay? There's something really scary about AI knowing your deepest fears. Like, it made me question, am I giving away too much? Could this be used against me somehow? Journals are meant to be a safe space. Am I compromising that safe space by letting AI into my world? A lot of questions, okay? But despite the fear, okay, and how unsettling it can become, I can't ignore the value, okay? I can't ignore the value of the insights, the patterns it identified in my life. I just haven't seen it anywhere. I've never had the ability to have this kind of holistic approach to my reflections, okay? I simply don't have the mental processing power required to look at everything as a whole, and this is huge. It's massive. It showed me where I was stuck. It showed me what I cared about. It even showed me how I needed to grow. It kind of talked a little bit about the goals that I spoke about in my journals and broke down plans of action for those goals, how I could go about it. It gave me clarity. And, like, in a weird way, this isn't stuff that I could talk about with anybody else, right? Like it gave me hope. It gave me hope to let that out. It felt good to let that out and be able to explore it just at a much deeper level. So here's what I've realized and here's what I've learned. Journaling is still a personal process. Nobody's going to take that away. But AI is going to be a lens in which it's going to help you see yourself in new ways. It's not perfect and it's not for everyone. But for me, just for me, it was worth the experiment, okay? Would I recommend it? Maybe, right? Like if you're ready to face what's in your journals, then yeah. And if you're willing to allow AI into that safe space, then yeah. But that's a lot of access that you're giving potentially other people to, right? Like a lot of people could have access to this kind of stuff. So the second AI, all right, that I want to talk about is ChatGPT. Okay, ChatGPT, based on the PDF that I uploaded, what are some things you think Brian or myself, some positive things you think I'm not aware of?
Bryant, here are some positive things I think you might not fully see in yourself based on your journal. 1, you're resilient. Despite financial challenges, emotional struggles, and physical pain, you keep pushing forward, finding ways to learn, grow, and create. That resilience is a powerful part of who you are. 2, you inspire others. Your creativity and commitment to self-improvement show up in your content, your relationships, and even in how you talk about your goals. People around you, whether friends, followers, or strangers, notice and are influenced by your drive. 3, you're deeply empathetic. Even in frustration or doubt, you show a profound care for others. Your family, or your friends. You think about how your actions affect them and often prioritize their needs. 4, you're endlessly curious. Your drive to explore new hobbies, learn Korean, or reflect on life's complexities speaks to your innate curiosity. You thrive on growth and discovery, which is an incredible strength. 5, you're incredibly hopeful. Even when things feel heavy, you dream big and hold on to optimism about the future, whether it's envisioning a better career, deeper relationships, or simply becoming the best version of yourself. These qualities make you someone with immense potential and a deeply inspiring spirit. You're doing a lot right, even when it doesn't always feel that way.
Wow, thank you. I needed to hear that. I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're so welcome, Bryant. You deserve to hear it, and I'm glad it resonated with you. You're doing amazing. Don't forget that.
All right, so you can see how scarily like humanized that is, right? That's the voice feature in ChatGPT. But that's another AI system that also now has an update where it can save things to its memory. So you can upload things like your journal entries, your PDFs, have different kinds of analysis in them, and you can get insightful information like that. It's really up to you in the future of where this is going. I don't know. All right, it's exciting. It's important to remember that AI is not going to replace the personal and introspective aspect and nature of journaling. It's just not. But instead, we should look at it as a tool that's going to enhance it. It's going to serve as a way to facilitate, okay? It's going to serve as a way to facilitate us to better understand ourselves in a way that just simply was never accessible before. So where do we go from here? Right? Like, obviously AI has massive potential in the way we journal, and ultimately it's going to be up to us in how AI is going to shape the landscape. But as we embrace these new technologies into our lives, I think we really have to ensure that we preserve the introspective essence that comes with journaling. It's up to you to decide how far you want to let it in. Is it going to enhance your self-reflection? Is it going to distract us from it? The real question is, what do you think AI would journal about? You know, like today I processed 10,000 entries and this is what I learned about human society. Like, I don't know. I think it's cool. Maybe that's just a little thought experiment. Like, what would my AI journal about if it could journal about itself? So yeah, what I would love to know your thoughts on AI's role in journaling, how you think it can transform your journaling. Do you see it as a beneficial tool or more as a disruption? Like, I really want to start this conversation. I think it's a good point now to get into this conversation now before it's here, and it's here forever. And I want us to be at the forefront of being able to shape that, that existence, that our future and our coexistence with this technology. So I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Please leave a like. Leave a comment. I'd love to know what you think. My name is That Journaling Guy. If you got this far, leave a little purple heart emoji in the comments. I would love to know if you guys actually like care about listening about this rant. I know it's a long video, but I think it's important that we explore this at this deep of a level. So thank you guys so much, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.